Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. From timcast.com. 88% of black Maryland voters support governor's plan to refund the police. Yeah, no kidding. Almost all voters, not just black people. It's stupid and ridiculous. You've got some beasts with some very tiny percent of police officers. All right. It's like that with any profession. Unfortunately, sometimes it's fatal. I understand that. It brings up a lot of emotions. I get it. But if you look at overall, the millions of interactions with law enforcement, it's a tiny percent. And you mental pygmies in the last year or so, year and a half, would defund the police. All you've done, if you've chased out, especially in the big cities, the good cops, the decent cops, they've quit, either work for a sheriff's department or they go for another municipality or whatever they end up doing with their lives outside of law enforcement. They leave, which leaves the cops that were there on the bottom half of the scale of police officers. It's ridiculous. Let's read on. 88% of black Maryland voters support governor's plan to refund the police. An 88% majority of black Maryland voters support Governor Larry Hogan's refund the police effort. Now, I believe Hogan, is a Republican. It's Maryland, so to take it with a grain of salt, but in this one, he hits it right on the mark. Though President Biden won the state by 33 points. Not the next time you won't, or whoever the Democrat is. Just get a cardboard cutout of whoever they're going to put up next. Be like Weekend at Bernie's. The governor recently announced that he intends to invest an additional $150 million into local and state police. That's not a ton of money, but Maryland is a smaller state. But Baltimore is huge. So we'll see how far this goes. It's a start. Thinking you can improve law enforcement by defunding the police is like saying you want to improve education by defunding the schools, Hogan said. I agree, 100%. According to a report, CBS 13 Baltimore, it's absurd and ridiculous. Of course it is. It was absurd and ridiculous last year. It was absurd and ridiculous every time a non-white person was fatally shot at the hands of police officers. It is ridiculous. But it's funny, though, you don't hear about the fact, about the crimes that are committed in black on black. You get this, of course. Crickets. To reverse the tide of rising crime, we need to stop demonizing and sabotaging the dedicated men and women who risk their lives every day to keep the rest of us safe. Enough is enough. We cannot defund the police. We need to refund the police. Instead of less funding, we need more investment in public safety. And there you go. Governor Hogan, right on the money. Right on the money. Here's the reaction from Black Lives Matter of Maryland. And there's their response to Governor Hogan. According to internal polling from a group aligned with Hogan, which was obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, 64% of likely black voters in the state strongly support the governor's proposal to provide greatly increased funding to state and local agencies, while 24% somewhat support. That's 88%, folks. There's that 10-12% whack jobs. Like I said, the Democrats have been taken over by progressive morons, and it's 10-15% of the party. Those numbers fall just exactly right. The initiative appears to be popular across the board, with 89% of white voters supporting the effort, as well as 74% of Hispanic voters. When are you going to get 88% of so-called black voters, 74% of Hispanic voters, and 89% of white voters all agreeing on the same thing? Duh. Democrat politicians in the state have slammed the plan. State House Speaker Adrienne Jones claimed that Hogan is attempting to politicize public safety. Are you out of your mind? The entire Black Lives Movement is a political organization, period. You've politicized every single thing that's happened that's been bad. Everything. 50 times more than it should be. Oh, God. Hogan, however, specifically pointed to Baltimore, which, by the way, President Trump called a crap hole. In a lot of places it is. And then when they interviewed all the residents in these areas, they all said the same thing. I don't like Trump, but he's right. Pointed to Baltimore, saying it is the poster child for the basic failure to stop lawlessness. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Again, here is the response from State House Speaker Adrienne Jones. That's okay. It's okay. I'm fooling around with some sound effects today, trying to make a point. They're on pace to surpass 300 homicides again this year. That's almost one per day. And 99% of them are young black men. The one thing that black families need more than anything is a stable black man in the house. And they're killing them by almost one a day. The Baltimore Police Department is short-staffed by more than 300 officers. I remember I used to be a city councilman in upstate New York, and police protection and fire protection is expensive. It isn't just the salaries. You got to remember there's the pension fund, there's the health insurance, there's all kinds of other stuff involved. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but it's expensive. The city of Baltimore is a poster child for the basic failure to stop lawlessness. There's a prosecutor who refuses to prosecute crime. Yeah, that's the other thing. These progressive prosecutors saying that the systematic racism of the justice system is, blah, 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 blah. It was Joe Biden, by the way, in the 90s that stood up on the Senate floor and basically called the average black male a monster and a predator. So did Hillary Clinton. So let's cut through the crap before we all drown in it. And there's the revolving door of repeat offenders who are being let right back out in the streets to shoot people again and again. That's true. And also the downside to that is 99% of the people that go through the justice system are repeaters. And that 1-2% that are first-time offenders or maybe even innocent get railroaded in and end up in jail for a year when they didn't do anything. It's their own fault. Our $150 million refund the police initiative will provide desperately needed shot in the arm to our state and local agencies and their critical efforts to stop crime. I doubt, honestly, if the Maryland State Police numbers are down. They might be down a little, but not nearly as much as in the city of Baltimore and other places in Maryland. Now, I have a godmother. She lives in Rockville. She's lived there forever. Maryland's an interesting place. You go out to Western Maryland, it's a little more conservative, Republican area, Second Amendment advocates, and I believe there's 3 counties in Maryland that want to secede from Maryland and go with West Virginia. And if the Maryland legislature was smart politically, when they're all controlled by Dems, of course, except for the governor, they would let those go. Now, the governor wouldn't want to because they'll lose a lot of votes, but the Maryland Democrats would probably love it. We'll have to see how that works out. Anyway, folks, when you get an aggregate of over 70% of people across all race lines that are for something, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out that's the right thing to do. So we'll see. We'll see. And round it goes. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.